us damn street niggas, we ain't really comfortable with all the attention. So we just trying to say,
do what you do, baby.
I want to graduate. I seen to come up through the mud. You feel me?
Real
Yeah, I'm saying, like I said, I used to be top. I'm one of the ones. When that nigga said he had a phone, his whole joke, man, I'm looking at the screen like preach, cause I was on the phone with him. You feel me? So you know what I'm saying?
Okay. It's Pete down at the General to know that a podcast. You keep your body clean, huh? Yeah. Right. Here we are, y'all. Now it's been frustrating and it's been a long road here, but we here. And it's the artist, it's LOCOMOTE story, so I'm gonna let him tell it. Let's go. Yo.
That was hilarious. I'm not gonna lie.
Touchdown. Oh man. Touchdown. All right, let's get right into it. You wanna shout anybody out first? Or do you wanna get right into it?
Honestly, man, whatever you prefer. I'm down to just get into the meat and potatoes.
Man, I appreciate it, man. So, won't you formally introduce yourself for the viewers?
So, I'm a Sacramento-based artist. I go by LOCOMOTE. My name's Grant. I just put out my first solo release. So, I'm an engineer, recording artist. I've been in many bands and still in another band based in Portland, Oregon, but been a recording artist for at least a decade at this point, and I own a studio down in Sacramento as well, so I'm just starting to do my own stuff now. Just time was now.
That's what's up. Okay, so take us back. You say you're from Sacramento. For the people in New Orleans and the surrounding areas, tell us about your experiences and your upbringing coming up in Sacramento.
Right. So basically, born and raised in Sacramento, it's not necessarily known for its music scene since, like, you know, getting into like the 2010s for sure. So I moved up to Portland for many years and then came back down and we built a recording studio. And my whole pitch at this point is there's great venues in Sacramento. There's just not a whole scene here, but I've met so many good musicians and there's so much talent, and it's a pretty great city, honestly. You know, it's, for those who don't know the area super well, it's like, you know, an hour and a half from San Francisco, you know, close to Napa. So it's a nice spot, close to Tahoe, but yeah, just not a huge music scene. So I'm trying to change that.
Exactly. So what, I guess, obstacles does that pose to you by not having a good music scene, but you trying to do music from that scene? What obstacles do you face by doing that?
So earlier in my career, I would have seen that as an obstacle, but after going up to Portland for a good amount of time, when you're in a very saturated market, it can be kind of difficult to get exposure and kind of go at venues. There's a lot of like gatekeepers. So being back in Sacramento now, I see it as an opportunity because it's easier to get in touch with promoters and club owners and all those things. So it's kind of opposite of the reason I left Sacramento was because the scene was small, but now I'm coming back and realizing that that's actually a benefit if you
blessing in disguise, right?
Right.
Yes, sir. So let's take us back, right? What got you into the music, right? What artists did you listen to before you started doing your thing?
So, I mean, obviously, you know, growing up in, you know, late 90s, early 2000s, there was like good bit of like influence from like hip hop, R&B artists. You know, everyone was super obsessed with Eminem, but for me and my older brother, he's kind of the main reason I got into rock music, for sure. He's a huge influence and I kind of idolized him. So I'm like, hey, I played concert music. I was in marching band, you know, from a young age. So I was like, I'm going to be like my older brother, right? And go learn music.
Big Bro, man.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Big Bro.
Oh, yeah.
Big Bro. So what is it about what Big Bro did when he do it that made you want to do it, how you do it?
So he kind of developed like a palette for music. You know, he kind of found these artists that were, you know, underknown or kind of coming up and whatnot. So it was kind of not super pop culture kind of centric. So for me, it was kind of interesting and entertaining. But, you know, artists like My Morning Jacket, Wilco, Tame Impala, they're huge now. You know, some of these bands, Fleet Foxes, he showed me a video of them when it was literally just this silly YouTube video many years ago. And I'm like, these guys don't have what it takes, but he could see like the potential, right, in artists. So for me, that was what was really cool.
So I interview a lot of upcoming artists, LOCOMOTE,
Sure.
and they say that the music is like a sort of therapy for them, like a way to speak. Do you agree or disagree with them sentiments?
I agree to such a strong respect. Like, so for me, the project that I'm kind of going on now, I've always been a part of bands that like they over vet their music. They take so long to release albums, right? Spend thousands and thousands of dollars, really micro fixating. And I kind of got to this point where I'm like, I love it and I understand it and I appreciate good, really high fidelity music. But I just want to release a bunch of stuff because it is therapy. I have like this backlog of emotional context from different stages in my life. And it's just kind of cataloged on my computer. And I'm like, it's doing no service. Because the thing for me is like, I'm not trying to say like, oh yeah, my lyrics are super profound or this or that. But it's relatable, you know, to kind of go through the context of different stages in your life. So I'm just done keeping it on my laptop. I just want to share it now. Yes,
sir. So you are a soft alternative rock artist, correct?
Yeah.
Could you take us to what is that? So
alternative in that sense is like, it's not hard rock. Like rock traditionally, like Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, Black Sabbath, you know, you kind of go on the spectrum of rock. Right. Do I love guitars and do I have a crap ton of them? Yeah. And do I have like bombastic drums? Totally. But there's more of like a kind of, I wouldn't call it theatrical. I kind of think with composition, with alternative music, it can kind of like situate itself in different kind of emotional contexts. Because, you know, rock is like drug, sex, rock, you know, rock and roll. It's kind of typecast. Where like alternative is kind of the more nuanced sort of like the diary component that you're referring to.
So yeah. I asked you moments ago, what does the music do for you personally? Now I'm gonna ask you, what do you want the music to do to your listeners when your listeners tap into you, LOCOMOTE? What's your plan on your music reaching your fan base? How do you want your music to touch your fan base?
I just want people to hear themselves in it. You know, with the lyrics, a lot of it just kind of writes itself out. So like, I write so much material, and that just because the reason that is the case, I'm not saying like I'm some prolific writer. I don't backstep, right? So when I write something, I let it be like a stream of consciousness. So I leave things alone when I'm done with that moment. So for the listeners, just to kind of engage and understand, it's like this time capsule, you know, of a thought. And you might not relate to this one, but check out this other one. Like there's going to be such a variance in emotion, in vibe in it that, you know, not everybody's going to like everything you do. To think that that's the case, you're foolish. Like even your favorite bands, you have to listen to that 2 or 3 songs on the album 15 times before you're like, okay, I get it now. I think I get it now, right? So just not to have like super intense expectations. Just walk into the room, you know, sit with it.
Yeah, I like
that's it, you know.
I like that. So you say you started off in a couple of bands, but now you're doing a solo thing, right? Is that something you had to adapt to, or did it just come natural, you going solo and
Yeah.
had to not being with a band?
So it's kind of funny in that respect, like my older brother I mentioned and other people I was with, they were veterans over the years, right? And really sharpened like the process for myself. And I still love working with other bands. And I produce an artist down in Sacramento. She was a singer on The Voice. She's amazing. But now I kind of take composition and production as separate things. Like you don't just have to be a part of one thing. Like the emotional content of what I'm doing doesn't relate to these other projects. So it kind of just adapted in this natural fashion where, you know, I write and help compose for the bands that I'm in, but not everything works. You can't like shove a, you know, square peg in a round hole for everything.
Facts. That's facts. So
Yeah.
with the soft alternative rock music, right? I
Yeah.
know it's a lot. That's not something I'm previous to, but I know that it's
Yeah.
a lot of artists in that genre of music, right?
Right.
So what are you personally bringing to the table of the alternative soft rock music that they are not already previously being served on a plate?
So kind of like a reassociation with like the just DIY and self-production component, because a lot of like it's so popular now to be indie alternate, like all these labels, right, for content, when if you think about it, like going into the 60s, 70s, even the 80s, like Paul Simon, Devo, like all these other artists, they wouldn't have called themselves that. Even Prince in the rock scene, he was alternative, like he was different, but you wouldn't have labeled yourself as such. So for me with it, the difference is, yeah, the instrumentation will probably sound similar because we're influenced by similar things, but it's the way, if it's like once you get into recording a lot, which I've done, you can match tones, right? Like you can find and like embody your idol super well. I just don't even try to do that. I make all my demos, pretty much all my songs on my laptop. I sing into my laptop in my apartment before I even take it to the studio. And I just like without all the bells and whistles, you know. And then I get into the studio and I'm like, oh, now I can craft. But I'm not trying to copy anything. You know, it's very much so me competing with myself at this point.
Facts. So what motivates you to do the type of music, soft alternative rock? What's your motivation behind when you put that pen to the paper and write your songs, LOCOMOTE?
It speaks to my heart and I can relate to it culturally in a lot of respects. You know, I see some artists that are like, oh, I'm going to go delve into this, you know, like R&B or hip hop, or, oh, I'm going to go country. And I'm like, dude, I'm just a white guy who was born in Sacramento. Like, you know, like I appreciate it and I love that culture and like all the art that comes out of it. But I just need to do what like is me, you know? Like I've worked with a lot of hip hop artists. It's fun. I love doing production, but I'm like, I'm just going to do what my heart aligns to, you know?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So when you first jumped into the music, right?
Yeah.
Did you have to get your feet wet? Did you start off cold, like just the best of the best? Did you have to hit the ground running? Was it difficult when you first started off? How was it with you when you first started off, LOCOMOTE?
So it's kind of like an interesting paradigm where a lot of artists, they develop into recording, right? And it takes them a lot of time to get into the good studios. And we were just blessed with, in Sacramento when I was 16, so, you know, 11 years ago, we reached out to a studio and they did Cake, like all their work. And he just kind of nurtured our like skill and like appreciation for studio work. So when it comes to the studio, I feel at home. Playing on a stage, no problem. But it's the in-between marketing, brand, like, you know, it's like talking yourself up sort of thing. It's so difficult. So I'm like, God, how am I cool? Like you sit there and you're like writing on like a whiteboard, like these like cool words, right? And you're like, what does that even mean? It's you know, it's I don't know. For me, that's the tough part.
Right. The brainstorm.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So when did you exactly fall in love with the music, Locomote?
So I've been playing music forever, you know, in concert setting. And for sure it's my brother. Like I saw him getting into bands, like he was active at his church, you know, playing with these really cool artists. And I'm like, I can do it too. You know, I'm sitting there like, I play the baritone, you know, I march, like I can read music. So I kind of just dove in and fell in love with the process of connecting with my brother. You know, it was like our like unifying capacity. And times have changed, right? Like, you know, every relationship changes, but it really like solidified this deep love with him. And then out of nowhere, I'm like, well, shit, it's been 6 years. I actually am good and I like music now. So this, you know, it worked out.
Facts. What's the most difficult thing about what you do?
Making a bunch of art and wanting to share it and feeling like I don't want to impose, you know, the mindset of like, yeah, this is cool and I took the time and I understand, but you get numb to it. Like after like a certain amount of time, like, well, I've made like 50 songs now. What's, you know, like what's so different about these, right? So that's why I'm really trying with this project. So it's called LOCOMOTE because it's to move forward under one's own volition and path, like like just to move and just to do. So it's the simple act of just doing and putting it out there. That's like the therapy for me now, is like, oh, I've gotten all this help. I've gone through the breakups, right? I've had all these moments. I wrote all this heartfelt stuff. Let's put it out there and kind of move past it. So that's the alignment. Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, so your music, right? When you sit down and you put your pen to the paper, do you incorporate your real life into the music, or do you keep those two things separate?
They are intertwined on a level where I make songs and like it's like I give my heart the return from the what it was taken or what I experienced. Like I don't like put names or specific labels. Like I'll try to be more nuanced. Like when I was in a relationship, I made a song called like Looking for a Lover, which I'm gonna release soon. And it's while I'm in a relationship. It's like the thought of feeling like you're needing to find your love when you're technically with someone, right? It's like that detachment. And it wasn't even totally intentional. And then I look back, it's like it's been 2 years now. And I'm like, God damn, Grant, your subconscious really let go of that one. You really just threw it out. Because lyrics for me, they write themselves. Like I have notebooks, don't get me wrong, for years. I worked on constructing it. But now I just sing and kind of figure it out as I go. And it's yeah.
Thanks. Is there any other areas of entertainment or any other genres of music that you would want to get interested in or get your feet wet in, or you just self-alternative rock?
Anything. I love it all. Like as a recording artist, you know, like I can play drums, bass, guitar, you know, all the stuff, but synthesizers and sub basses, you know, and those fat, deep sounds are just fun. Anybody who tells you that they don't like dance or like, you know, fun, vibey music like that hasn't been to a live concert, right? It's like, oh, you haven't felt the thunder. Okay. So for me, it's anything I'm, you know, considered in. I love being a part of. You know, I've done some albums on the country genre. I've like played bass and drums at like a cypher house for like local rap artists in Portland for like a good chunk of time. It was just fun. Like I just want to be involved. Because music is the lens that I can just exist. You know,
You think you're gonna be doing music for the rest of your life, Locomote?
100%. Even, you know, all this diary and ledger. And what I've always said is at the end of my life, I'm just gonna release it. You know, it's just all gonna go out anyways. And so anybody who didn't know or maybe didn't get some conversation with me, don't worry, just rifle through. You'll find it, I'm sure. So it's like, you know, you might have to listen to a couple songs, but there's one for you in there, I bet.
Facts. So we spoke about when you developed your love for the music, right?
Yeah.
As of now, is your love for the music still the same? Has it diminished? Has it rose? Why don't you elaborate on your love for the music as of now?
It's changed from being like exciting and like you know, youthful and like yearning, like wow, this is so magical, to now it feels like sometimes it's a burden, sometimes it's tough, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes you walk in and you're like, oh my god, dude, I don't want to rehearse for like 2 or 3 hours right now. Like, it's tough, but I see it more as like I've been blessed in whatever capacity to have this like association with art like this, that I can't let it go. So it's still like a love, but it's like almost in any relationship, you get past the honeymoon phase, right? Sometimes you don't want to do the dishes before you know your girl gets home, but at the end of the day, it's like I don't want to scrub the drums. Nobody does. Nobody wants to sit there and look at the little lines and like do all the micro edits, but if it doesn't get done, everyone will know, but they won't know why they don't like it, you know? So.
Thanks. So we here now, right? But
Yeah.
on the way here to this point in your career, have you ever thought about giving it up?
I mean, many times.
Like, kept you motivated?
In the sense of giving it up, like I will never stop playing music, but giving it up in the sense like, yeah, like I went and worked as a financial advisor for a while. You know, I have like, I don't know, the blessing of being like book smart. So, you know, I've always thought, like, I went to Portland to go to college to pursue music. In the back of my head, there's always like this, did you do it right? Should you have gone the other way? You know? But the more I'm like releasing this project and kind of falling in love again, because it's just me and I've never given it the shake on my own. It's kind of, it's almost like sad, because I'm like, damn, you're 27. You could have started this earlier. Like, maybe there's a reason for that, but I won't ever give it up.
Is it still fun for you?
Oh, hell yeah. Like, sitting in a recording studio with a synthesizer, playing it over like a dope drum and bass track, you can lose hours.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
You're like, what happened? It's dark outside. Did I even track it? You're like, shit, no, I just played the synth for fun for like 2 hours. So.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So ultimately, right? What are you trying to get out of this music, right? You just want the clout. You're doing it for the music. You want the money. What are you ultimately trying to get out of your music career, LOCOMOTE?
I just want to connect. Honestly, I want to, for whatever reason, I think that I've been given something that, and it sucks with ego for me because I've tried to kill it and, you know, be humble. But I do feel like I have something to offer. It might not be everything, but I just want people to hear it and just understand the love that I put into it. So I'd like if I could live and be an artist, that would be the dream, right? But not everything goes as in the exact capacity you want it. I just want people to maybe feel happier or like understood. Like, damn.
That's facts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you do the music, right? From you said you have about 50 songs in your catalog?
Yeah, at least that are pretty done. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite one?
Oh dear Lord. I mean, the one I mentioned earlier, looking for the way I think about it is which ones have I put the most time into production wise, right? Because the 3 that I released that just now, I made all of those in the last 2 weeks. So like they didn't like live a long life on the shelf because I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna do these ones, see how it goes, and then my true babies that I've got, you know, like nesting. Then I'm going to put some more production work into those. But I want to give people the relatable experience of like, yeah, sometimes you just do something and you're like, hell yeah, that felt good. I want people to hear it. It's not perfect. I'm like, well, I'll redo it. You know, I can make it better. People remaster stuff all the time. I'm like, yeah, if you love it that much, I will make it better. Yeah.
Thanks. So let me ask you this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From now till when you first started, what's
right.
In your opinion, what's the biggest difference in how you do music?
It's not effortless, but I can convey an emotion now, right? Like I don't have to think about the chord structure, you know, like kind of break it down. For me, I can go, I feel this way, and then it just kind of comes to be almost. Like, yeah, I might have to go in and go, well, that B flat, you know, really, you know, maybe I should do this instead. But I make most of my stuff based off a synth and like a beat, and as a bass player predominantly, I'll get this vibe out. Then I'll sit there and diddle with stuff until I start smiling, right? Or crying or whatever the emotion is. And then I'm like, I got it. That's it. I don't sit there and go, well, the root pentatonic of a 7th like I can play guitar, but not, you know, as good as a lot of guitarists, but every instrument is just a vessel to an emotion. Like if you're not doing it, you could be the best like chord chart player ever, but people feel it. People know that you're just, you know, kind of like a nerd about, you know, chords. It's like, yeah.
Thanks. So you say you're a financial advisor, you got your studio, you do music, plus life itself, right? Does the music ever get in the way of the reality of of the music, or does it all coincide?
So I try to make it like I go up to play with my band in Portland, separate from this, all the freaking time. And it totally gets in the way. Like just dipping out on your life. Like that's the tough thing about being an artist is while you're making it, it's a sacrifice. Like I don't get to go out and hang with friends. Like I don't get to do these other things because I'm trying to build art. So it can be isolating. And I'm like 27 now. So I was like, you know, looking into all the artists who, you know, kind of self-destructed around this time. It's a very common thing because you give your soul, you know, you give your entire heart to it. And people who don't appreciate music or art in general go, oh yeah, it's a song. Haha, that's a song too. And it's like, you know, it's no shame. And I'm almost envious of those people because I can't sit there and listen to a song most of the time without thinking about like the layout, you know, and
you listen to music from an artist's point of view, not yes sir.
And it's changed though, where before I was like, wow, that's so skillful. Like Mute Math is this band I love, so freaking talented, technically amazing, but they didn't cut it as comparison to these other bands that are like, we're playing a G to A and we don't give a shit, but we're, you know, but you feel it, right? And so now I'm diving back into, it's not about how good you are, it's about how much you like care to share and relate. That's the power of music and art in general, is, you know, shared consciousness points.
Yes, sir. So from this point, right, in your whole career, right, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned musically so far?
Don't over like validate yourself and give yourself too much confidence and like assertion. in projects or everything, but simultaneously keep something for yourself. Keep that respect and that love for yourself in your art. Because if you go too far, then you start being self-deprecating. And, like then you try to do stuff and you're like, well, that voice in your head is like, well, it's not going to be good enough, right? So you have to love yourself. It's kind of in any relationship. It's kind of a life thing I've learned. If you don't love yourself, nobody can love you.
I like that. That's real. I salute that.
No.
Yes, sir. Where you see yourself musically in the next 5 years, LOCOMOTE?
I'm gonna release like probably 30 to 50 songs in 5 years. Definitely. I just released 3. I'm gonna do 3 more this month, and then I'm gonna go travel the world and go teach English in South Korea for a little bit and just try to engage with the music culture of East Asia and have fun and just get out of my head because as most people, like, life's not perfect, and I've gone through some stuff, and I've caught myself in this mental trap, and I'm like, just go be happy, go explore the world, release all your art, connect, and just engage. So it's a life thing, and the music will align with the amount of effort I'd put into it at this point if I just live my best life, and it's a tough reality but over this summer before I leave, I'm going to release probably like 20 to 30 songs. I'm not going to lie. Like,
okay. And are you gonna, while you go to South Korea to teach English, and will you stop doing music?
No. I've gotten really good, like I said, about making songs in my apartment before I bring it to the studio. Like, so I can do a bunch of stuff like that, and South Korea has a beautiful music scene. So I'm just going to go find clubs and meet these amazingly talented people and try to engage and have fun. Like, who cares? At the end of the day, like, music is a vessel to, like, relationships and community, right? It's people identify.
Yes, sir. So how do you plan to stay in tune with your listeners and your fan base to ensure longevity of your music career and not 1, 2, maybe even a 3-hit wonder?
It's going to be the consistency. Like I said, like with the title LOCOMOTE, we're a train. It's going to keep going. I might release stuff at different times in my life that's less produced, but I'll show you, and I'm going to kind of engage with my audience and go, hey, here's these demos. Which one should I put the effort into this week? So it's going to be kind of community-based, which is different than what I'm used to in a lot of respects, because people hold so tightly onto their art, right? I don't care. If someone wants to steal my song, do it. That means you like it. Cool. Have fun. That's awesome. I'll just do some more stuff.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. That is a very interesting way of looking at it. Let's hear some music, LOCOMOTE.
What was that?
Let's hear some music.
Hear some music?
Uh-huh.
How about am I going to do that?
Do you have a YouTube?
I do have YouTube.
Just like this. All right. I'm going to pull your YouTube up.
Okay.
Do you have those new songs like
Yeah, all 3 of them just got released like a day and a half ago.
So what's that? That's Brother, and what are the other 2 called?
See, you would expect me to know this, like, the best. It's Brother over your shoulder. Definitely not my shoulder, but your shoulder, and lay your head down. And it's kind of funny, like, we talk about art just being kind of happenstance in a lot of ways emotionally. It's it's just very correlated to somebody in my life right now, and it's so funny to look at it. And it's like, brother, lay your head down and over your shoulder. It's like, hey man, I'm here for you. Just lay your head down. Just put that shit over your shoulder.
Yeah. It's these 3 new songs. Are these your best work?
I think they're the reason I released those 3. Brother, extremely emotionally driven, right? Like that came in a day and a half. And I'm like, I just want to release this as it is. I don't want to vet it, right? I just want people to feel this emotion that I felt. And then like lay your head down, I just think is unique and fun. And Over Your Shoulder, I made it and I was laughing in my studio because it's a little more dancey than most of the music. Over the years, I'll make like 2 or 3 a year that are just kind of dancey because it's fun to listen to bass in a studio and just party it up, right? So I'm like, screw it. Let me just give people variety. And then I'll whittle it down based on what people like because I have so much backlogged.
Is it LOCOMOTE?
Yeah. LOCOMOTE Music is probably the best way to look it up on YouTube.
Gotcha. And what song you want to get into first? You know what I mean?
I mean, what vibe are you like? See, this is totally new right here. Like, do you want to go the emotional route? Do you want to go the it's okay, have fun route? Or like the thing that, just to me is a little unique or different in some capacity?
Let's do all of them.
I like your style. This is how I talk to my friends. Because this is what I do to my friends. My buddy Joseph, he's like, Grant, I have 60 emails from you from all these songs and demos you sent me. Like, it's insane. Why are you not releasing this? Because I'll just make something and be like, hey man, what's up? He's like, I don't know, it's a Tuesday. I'm like, do you want to like have this really emotionally engaging song be like, your car ride right now?
Yes, sir. All right, so boom. We're going to start off with Brother. That's cool?
Yeah. That one's a tough one for me. That's like, it's a very emotional.
Let's get into it. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
You do your own production?
Oh, all of it. So this song was mostly done on a laptop.
What you say, LOCOMOTE?
So that song, which is what's funny about it, in just a sense, that didn't have a real microphone. I just sang that into my laptop.
What?
Yeah. So it's like sometimes when the emotion, that's the thing for me, is I get pissed because I'm like, oh, I did this thing. I captured that emotion. Then I have to go re-record it. So I'm like, nope, you know what? Screw it.
Screw that. Tamara said play Cali's Son.
Oh, I don't. That one's not released.
Okay,
See,
right.
I've been bugging people with my demos forever.
Those are all instruments that you playing?
Yeah. No samples. It's
Was
almost
this
like
you
it's
wrote
a
that for your
lullaby.
actual brother, or you just
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
That's what's up, man. Shout out to Big Bro, man. I love y'all relationship, man. Shout out to Big Bro. So the next one is Over Your Shoulder.
Let me show you
this one.
Let me show you this really quick. Let me see. Or how do can I flip my camera on this?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I kind of set this up just to show you, because from when we started talking, just to like go over my process with you so people can kind of engage with it.
You could turn the phone. Yeah.
So since we first started talking like a couple days ago, I made a song specifically that nearly is finished, but it started getting too good for me to finish it. So I'll send this to you as a demo, just buddy to buddy, so you can, like, this is the process basically, that many freaking tracks, right? It's pretty intensive, the amount of stuff you do, but it's also,
you say it was getting too good, so you stopped?
No. Basically, I'll work on songs, and then sometimes when you get that feeling, you're like, oh shit, I gotta keep going a little more with this. Like I see what I could accomplish, right?
Thanks.
Other times you're like, no, it's a good song, it makes sense, I enjoy it, it's sound, but with this one, there's something dirty about it, there's something under the hood.
Facts. All right. Tomorrow say California Sun. Is that one released?
It's not. I could probably find it and email it to you.
All right. Let's play Over Your Shoulder.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Tamara, also, because it's my mom. I love her to death.
Oh, hey, Mom. Hey.
We're trying to promote the album that I released. I'll release California Sun this month. Okay, Mom?
That's her favorite song?
Dude, I got to get paid for these ads, man.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Wake up out of that place.
Hi, Jackie. Thanks for popping in.
You're following my path. You might reconsider. Because I am just a man who's suffering through problems. I don't understand why you are pushing after all this time. There must be something on your mind to push you to limit once again. I never wanted this to be. Last time that we fought on the moonlight, but things had to be different. Instead, I need to understand.
Over your shoulder. So what was your motivation behind this one?
So that's an example when I say sometimes I just make a freaking dancey song. I made that whole song in probably like 2.5 hours.
Facts.
Yeah, it was that synth line.
Lay your head down. Okay, what was the motivation behind this one?
So this one is like more like the initial lyrics are like I could have never been what you wanted me to be, something for you to hang on your shelf. I'd rather die. So it's kind of in correlation with releasing my own music. Like somehow I've been shelved artistically, but it's all my fault. You know, you talk about like ownerism and like self like evaluation. Like nobody told me I couldn't do shit. I just didn't, you know? And I'm sitting there like, you know, why the fuck did I do that? It's like, you know, and so it's kind of like saucy in that sense, where it's me kind of telling myself like, yeah, you did this to yourself, dude. Like, yeah.
Facts. Let's go. What's your favorite one out of them three?
I mean, for emotional content, I have to say Brother, because like that just like I cried after I made that one. I kind of walked away from it, and now I'm sitting there like, damn, man, you got something out emotionally. With the one we just listened to, I'm like, I'm doing now what that song was like. I was bitching at myself for not doing the releasing and doing what I'm doing now. So it's kind of funny. I have that moment with past Grant all the time where I'm like, ha, you were right or you were hella wrong. Like when I make love songs, like in the past, I'm like, bitch, if you only knew what was gonna happen, holy, oh my god, dude, you. And then it's like the next 15, 10 songs that like I don't write too much sappy stuff. It's more like self-reflective most of the time. But that second one was just fun. Like purely fun. Live, it would be so fun. But Brother, in terms of artistic like, value for me, that means a lot to me.
That's my favorite one too.
Yeah.
Brother is my favorite, but the production, this one, Lay Your Head Down.
Yeah,
I like the
that. I spent way more time on the last one. The other two I made so quickly, but I'm like, oh shit, look at the variety here. Let me just start with this because I have some really, really fun ones. I have a whole album, like a concept album I made like a year and a half ago. I've just been tweaking, and I'm gonna give it to everybody now that I've dipped my toes with some of my other stuff. I'm like, the water's fine. Let me just,
Yeah, I like
it's
that.
funny,
So before we get out of here, LOCOMOTE,
yeah,
define LOCOMOTE music.
just somebody trying to just enjoy the curvature of life, I'll call it. You know what I mean? With you. And if my whole thing is, if there's ever something you're processing or you're wanting to go through, reach out to me. Like, call me or contact me. Like, I'll make songs like about emotions, because everybody can relate to certain like types of an emotion, right? Everyone thinks they're all unique in this and that, but there's truth in like these parallel lines we all run across all day, but don't talk to each other about it.
Yeah.
So
no battles.
So let's communicate. And if you want to talk to me about lyrics or whatever it may be, like, I just don't like, oh, I made the lyric because this rhymed with this. I'm like, dude, I don't care if it's like a haiku and it's like technically perfect. I just want people to have fun and engage with me, not for my monetary benefit, but because I've done this for so long that let's have fun, you know, let's party.
Yeah. So before we get out of here, leave them with all your social medias, wherever they could contact you at, and where they could find all your music at.
Yeah. So everything's released like all platforms. So, you know, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, all the other number of possible ones. It's on everything. Facebook, that's my other band, LOCOMOTE Music. And then, LOCOMOTE Music's the tag for pretty much everything. There's some, like another band called LOCOMOTE Music _UK. We're in America, and I'm on the West Coast. Ain't nobody UCAN over here, and there's no disrespect there, but that's like the indication you're in the wrong place. Look for the circle like that of that album art. That's on everything until I get more following basis, and I'm going to put up a website soon to make it more identifiable. But yeah, call me, reach out. Let's hang, let's party, guys.
Hell yeah, I enjoyed it, man. Like I said, this was my first soft rock alternative genre music interview. I enjoy your music, you know what I'm saying? Keep doing what you're doing. And this will not be this time on here, you know what I'm saying?
It meant the world to me that you reached out, and you know, it's little things like that, man. Because this was fun. I don't even care that I wasted a half hour on technical difficulties. You know what I mean? It's like, that's life is life, man. But thank you for your time.
We had getting on here, but I told you we was going to get this interview done.
And you were right.
I appreciate you. LOCOMOTE. Shout out to the whole West Coast. Shout out to Sacramento, you know what I'm saying? From New Orleans to y'all, you know what I'm saying? I wish you luck, and this will not be your last time on the show. You heard me, LOCOMOTE?
Yes, sir. Love it.
Good. But until the next time, y'all already know what it is. It's Pete That Nut the General, to know the podcast. You keep your body clean, huh?
Huh?
Yeah. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. I got you.
From us damn street niggas, we ain't really comfortable with all of that damn shit. What you trying to say?
Do what you do, baby.
I want to congratulate. I seen to come up through the mud. You feel me?
Really?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I used to be top. I'm one of the ones. When that nigga said he had a phone, his whole juice, and I'm looking at the screen like preach. Cause I was on the phone with him, you feel me? So you know what I'm saying?